Hey, it's Mark Ferguson with Invest for More, and we're outside a house flip and going to talk about the progress on this flip and also the popcorn ceiling and the issues we had there, some other issues with the property. This has not been a real smooth flip, to say the least. For the most part, our flips have been going really well this year, but this one would be an exception to that list. So we'll show you the house, some different concerns, things we have on it, and talk about the problems we run into and why it's really ugly inside right now and how we're fixing it too. We're not just going to leave it ugly. So of course, check out investformore.com for much more information on our flips, rentals, being an agent, and all that great stuff. And let's take a look at the house. So this is the property you might remember was shut down for permits because the house next door caught on fire. And we'll show you what that house looks like here soon. Here's the neighbor's house right here. And you can see they've got the unsafe condemned notice in the door right there, and we peeked in the windows and it is totally gutted on the inside. So even though it's just a little bit of fire from their chimney, smoke damage is what will really destroy a house. And if you get smoke, a lot of smoke in the house, you almost have to gut the entire thing to hope to get that smoke smell out, because it will stay in there. And even the studs and stuff, there's a lot of smoke have to be removed too, just from that smoke damage. So sucks for them. Annoying the inspector shut us down for that too, but obviously they're in a much worse situation where someone probably living in their house and now can't live there, and they're probably waiting for insurance to figure it out and all that stuff. So not a fun situation. But the inspector saw we had window stickers in the windows for new windows, and they shut us down because in this town it's required to have a permit to replace windows. Even if they're the same size, you don't make any changes. So in most towns that's not the case, but it is here, so we had to deal with that. But we're making progress in the house, getting the work started some more, and then we had some other issues. And one thing too, this yard looks horrible. And I know a lot of our yards don't look amazing, but this one is especially bad. And what's interesting, every time we come here, it snowed, and there's been snow in the yard. And Nikki and I, who's my project manager, both looked at this yard and we're like, did it look this bad before? Like, I don't remember it looking this bad. And we're like, I think it's always had snow on it and we haven't seen how bad it is. So it's spring. We can definitely seed it, maybe even put some sod on and make it look a lot better. In this price range, it's probably worth it to do at least the front yard. Get some sod, some seed going. And would have been great to seed it a few weeks ago. It's been a super wet spring. And that's been really nice for Colorado, which has been in a drought. All right, so let's take a look at the inside and what issues we have. All right, so I've been really proud about how most of our flips have looked recently and how good a job Nikki's done with paint colors and doing everything. Fortunately, this one, I can't quite say the same for yet, but we're not done yet. But we walked in here the other day and we're just like, oh my God, what happened in here? There's a number of problems and issues. And this is a great reminder of why it's a good idea to always check on your houses frequently, because we can see these problems and get them fixed now instead of waiting until like the carpet's in or something else is done. And then you're like, oh my God, we have to redo all this and the carpet's already in. So this ceiling had popcorn on it before, and we talked about that in the last video. We'll link to that. And removing popcorn can make the property look a lot better, but it also can bring a lot of problems and issues with it too. And one of the issues you can see is you can see all the sheetrock seams, the drywall seams, because they knew they were putting popcorn up and it would hide all that. So if you do remove popcorn, that's something to remember, think about, is maybe they did a really bad drywall job when they did the popcorn, because they knew they were going to be hiding it. And if you take that popcorn off, you're going to have a whole lot of work left to do to hide that and make it look better. The other issues, there's just all these texture pieces, chunks all over. And just, I don't know what happened there. If it was the guy who removed the popcorn ceiling, but then the painters didn't prep very well either. So there's a combination of lots of ugly stuff going on here. And you can see all the blue tape. You know, I think our contractors a lot of times pride themselves on having the least amount of blue tape they can. Well, that did not quite happen on this one. The kitchen's in, so I think that was in before. That looks great, best part of the house, but yeah, we've got some other issues. And then up here, we moved that wall a little bit, and you can see the giant patch right there. And I think because there was popcorn before, I don't know. It was just not done well, obviously. So a lot of stuff needs touched up and fixed. And then it wasn't just their fault, but these colors are really dark, and Nikki and I were talking about that too. We've used this color before, and it looks so much darker in this house than other houses, or maybe the paint wasn't mixed right, like really dark. And then this, I'm talking about the wall color, and then we painted the fireplace brick, and it looks purple. It's not just the camera. It looks purple in real life too. Like, ooh, that is not what we expected. So sometimes things don't always go how you hope they would go. So I think we're just gonna paint that white, paint the grill, the grate there, touch up all of the sand, all the walls, get them looking better, possibly retexture some of it. There's a lot of stuff here that needs to be done to make this look like a good flip. And so our market's crazy, stuff is still selling amazingly fast, but we still want to put a good product out there. We don't want it to look like junk. So we are working to get all that fixed and remedied. This bathroom was here already, so it's actually a money saver right there. We're still going to paint that. There's lots of work to do here still, but making progress. And this is something like, what is going on here? The popcorn is still around the light. It turns out there's a cover for the light that will hide all that popcorn, but still, I'm like, you know, if someone else wants to replace the light or put a different light on, like, they might not want popcorn around it. So things like that really bug us sometimes. Here we have the master bedroom. And again, lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of blue tape, and just, yeah, a mixture. And the shower here is in, and again, wasn't doing my job getting the lights on beforehand, sorry. Looks cool, but really dark tile. And Nikki and I are talking like, man, that looks so dark too. Just everything else being dark. So, like I said, it wasn't just the other guys who are rethinking their choices on this one. It was us too with our colors and different stuff. Again, you can see the abundance of blue tape. So it wasn't just the texture on the ceiling, but there's lots of runny paint. And we talked to our contractor, and he's like, yeah, you know, my dad was sick, so I had my other guys working here without me watching them. And so they had some issues, so I've talked to them. So again, it's good to point these things out, talk to everybody, communicate with everybody. Don't just go crazy firing people or, you know, yelling at people. But at least we found this before like everything else was done, and we were coming out here and viewing the property. But we'll look at the basement too, which also has issues. So here's the basement. And the first thing too, their dog chewed up or clawed up these posts, and so it's like, hey, you know, let's get those looking a little better before we paint. Those are things you don't always notice walking through and telling people. So it's nice to have people who've worked with you for a long time who know to do those little things without you asking for everything. And I think it was just a matter of the contractor not being able to be here all the time to watch his guys, which happens. And he knows that too. He's like, yep, we'll get us all fixed. So the problem down here, and Nikki and I talked about this too, it feels so dark and dungeony down here. And I don't know if that shows up in the camera or not, but usually we just paint the ceiling the same color as the walls because we picked light neutral colors, but this color is really dark, and we're thinking we might just want to paint this ceiling white to really brighten it up and make it look better. And then that might hide some of these faults too, because if we were smart, we would have seen some of this before. But hold on, I'll show you the bathroom real quick, which we're working on. The tub surround is in, vanity's in, but obviously can't see much with the paint. But you've got some faults down here too, or just bad tape job, just really bad texture and mudding. And you can see they kind of took, I don't know if they took the popcorn down that ceiling or if it never had it. This is just a little office right here. But then in these rooms right here, you can really see the faults and seams and patches. And we didn't take this popcorn down, it was already taken down. So if we were smart and paying attention, we maybe would have seen this down here and been like, oh, maybe it's gonna look really horrible if we take the popcorn down. But again, it's a basement, so you don't know if the homeowners finished it at some point over the years and it's different from the upstairs. There's lots of things to figure out. So this business is always a learning experience, that's for sure. And in here too, just, you know, it looks much better with the white trim, that's for sure. But the seams are everywhere, really ugly. And if we paint it white, we're gonna have them sand it down, maybe even retexture. Hopefully that helps a bunch, and maybe painting it white will make it much more brighter and possibly hide some of these faults. So I can see the tape job there too, just horrible. That wasn't our guys, that was already there. One of Nikki's pet peeves that she tells every single painter and contractor, don't leave plant hooks. Never ever leave plant hooks. And so there's the plant hook. So that wasn't a good sign either. All right, so that is the house. We've got some work to do. It's going very slow to a number of issues. And this one's also kind of far away from us. It's definitely our farthest house from where our office is. And that always takes us longer to do these jobs too, because getting guys over there, viewing the properties, meeting people always just takes a little longer. And we always kind of put things off because we know it's a big drive. It's gonna take some time. It's not like a crazy drive. It's like 30 minutes to get here. But it's just, we always seem to do much better and get things done much faster. We have projects closer to us. All right, so we'll get to work on this. Hopefully get a lot of these things fixed. We'll have an update video showing what it looks like after all that's done. So make sure you subscribe. We love it when you guys hit the like button. That helps us out a lot. Love seeing the comments. Keep those coming. Let us know what you think of this property. Let us know if you think we screwed up or what we could have done different. One thing is just not removing the popcorn, which I know some people had mentioned in the previous video as well. And of course, check out investormore.com for much more information on our flips, rentals, being an agent, all of that great stuff. And we have 9 books on Amazon too. And one really cool thing is my Build a Rental Property Empire book, which has like 870 reviews now. Thank you for all the reviews. Is available in hardcover. So Amazon's doing like a beta test for some authors, and I was lucky enough to be chosen. So you can get our Build a Rental Property book in hardcover right now. All right, take care. We'll be back soon with an update on this and many of our other flips we have going on.